tuning in to AWANI Tonight with me, Cynthia Ng. SMEs still struggling with cash flow. Will Budget 2022 address this? And normalizing COVID self-testing, what's the right way to do it? That's coming up. Budget 2022 will lay the foundations for the government's longer-term reform efforts, with sustainability to be a major priority. Here is a glimpse at what the budget will focus on.
Budget 2022 will focus on the 3 Rs of speeding up recovery, strengthening economic resilience, and catalyzing reform. In the spirit of transparency, the Ministry of Finance recently introduced a pre-budget statement and 4 consultation papers, a first in our history. To date, we have received over 1,000 responses and comments, and more than ever, we are engaging and consulting with more Malaysians from all walks of life and across numerous sectors.
He added that financial assistance will remain ongoing, especially for the B40, the unemployed and the vulnerable. Additionally, Zafrul said support for businesses, including affordable financing schemes, better credit or grant access, and efforts to pivot businesses into digitalization will also be prioritized. Many SMEs are still facing cash flow problems due to the impact of the pandemic and lockdowns. SME Malaysia President Dato' Michael Kang urges the government to focus on ensuring the continuity and survival of businesses when tabling the budget 2022, especially industries severely hit by the pandemic, such as tourism and entertainment sectors.
The most important on the budget to start and highlight, I think, for 2022, government should set up a special fund, to help in terms of SME, those who have negative account. Maybe they have take loan from the bank. They have loan. They have never paid for the last 6 months or a year on their rentals. Whatever the debt they have. Government can consolidate all those debt under one account, so that the SME become a term loan, so the SME can pay back later slowly with their cash flow. So when they make money, then at the same time they make their account with the bank, commercial bank, with the clean account, so that they can take the additional working capital from the commercial bank. And also government can provide some soft loan, which is a special interest rate, so that they can jumpstart their business.
Malaysia now has a parliamentary caucus to study regulations and policies for medical use of marijuana and ketom. Chaired by medical marijuana advocate, independent MP Syed Saddiq Syed Abdul Rahman, the bipartisan caucus consists of 9 MPs from both sides of the political divide. Members include Barisan Nasionals Datuk Sri Azalina Othman Said, Ahmad Fadli Syari from PAS, as well as Lukanisman Awang Saufi from GPS. Also included in the caucus are Pakatan Harapan's Dr. Kelvin Yee, Dr. Azman Ismail and Khalid Samad, while other members include Independent Datuk Dr. Xavier Jayakumar and Warisan's Datuk Daryl Laking. The caucus will get feedback from medical experts, researchers, industry players, NGOs and ministries involved in formulating a policy before drafting a proposal. The goal is to ensure patients who rely on cannabis or ketom for medical treatment can be put under the country's healthcare system. The Health Ministry is developing a national suicide registry, which is expected to be completed in 2023. The registry is aimed at providing detailed statistics on suicides and fatal injuries, which will be used to strengthen policy development efforts and suicide prevention programs. Deputy Health Minister Datuk Dr. Noor Azmi Ghazali said the ministry is in the process of developing applications for the system, which would involve all government hospitals nationwide. He said that the National Suicide and Fatal Injury Registry Malaysia has been listed under the 12 Malaysia Plan, with an allocation of 4 million ringgit to develop the system. Noor Azmi said that from January to March this year, a total of 336 suicide cases were recorded, compared to 112 in the same period last year, showing a 67% surge. The Tourism Ministry has proposed to the National Security Council to open Langkawi to foreign tourists from selected countries under the Travel Bubble project. The Kedah state government welcomes the proposal and says it plans to open a COVID screening facility as part of the preparations. According to Tourism Exco Muhammad Firdaus Ahmad, the state government plans to open a massive COVID-19 screening facility at the Masuri International Exhibition Centre next to the Langkawi International Airport, which can screen up to 300 inbound travellers from overseas. Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Datuk Sri Nancy Shukri said between September 16th and October 12th, a total of 85,921 people had travelled to Langkawi through the Tourism Bubble programme. COVID-19 self-test kits will soon be available at selected supermarkets and chain stores sometime this month. Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister Datuk Sri Alexander Nantalinggi said discussions with the Health Ministry regarding the matter were at the final stages.
The self-test kits are currently sold at registered pharmacies or health facilities nationwide. Nanta said that in the meantime, the government would also ensure the new prices for the self-test kits do not have an effect on the industry players. Effective September 5th, the maximum retail price for self-test kits has been fixed at RM19.90 per set, while the wholesale price is capped at RM16 per set.
Regular COVID-19 self-testing may soon become a way of life as we learn to live with the virus. We speak to Professor Dr. Sharifah Izzat Wan Puteh. She outlines the proper way to conduct self-testing.
If you feel that you are exposed and you feel that you might have symptoms, or you have just met a lot of people and you might be exposed to the virus, you may be asymptomatic and you feel that you might be a carrier, then you need to self-test. Another potential area where you need to self-test regularly is when you feel that let's say you might work, you need to go into a working environment and you are worried that you might carry the virus, so then you also need to self-test. So when is the best time to self-test is basically early in the morning, but basically you test yourself when you think that you might be exposed or you might be vulnerable to contracting the virus, and also to prevent yourself from transmitting to other people.
Dr. Sharifah explained how in some cases, a false negative whereby a person is positive for COVID but still shows a negative result might happen during the virus's incubation period. It is recommended for the person to repeat testing or go for RT-PCR tests.
So you can give yourself some grace period, let's say 3 days, before you actually test yourself. If you test yourself and you are negative and you don't have any symptoms and things like that, in a way it's considered something that you might actually be recommended to repeat after another 3 days, or you might be advisable to actually seek another advice or another result using the PCR, which is the confirmatory test.
Dr. Sharifah stressed that it is everyone's responsibility to self-test, especially now that interstate travel is allowed.
At the moment, the government advise everybody or recommend everybody to go or basically do self-testing, because it's not practical for us to check everyone who require to go for interstate travel. Now, this leeway would create a lot of potential areas where smaller outbreaks may occur. So basically, we don't want to ruin our government and to ruin our future. So please do self-test as part of your responsible ownership of not only your health, but other people's health as well.
We will go for a quick break. Stay with us.
Ayuh keluarga Malaysia, kita bulatkan tekad dan bersatu hati untuk terus memelihara serta mempertahankan kedaulatan negara. Sebagai keluarga Malaysia yang besar, kita harus bertoleransi dalam semua perkara. Hormat menghormati serta mengekalkan perpaduan rakyat yang berbilang kaum, agama dan bangsa serta integrasi nasional silang budaya adalah tunjang kekuatan kita sebagai sebuah negara bangsa yang berjaya. Umpama selembar benang dikait, ditenun dan dijalin, akhirnya menjadi kain yang sempurna indah.
Amanah di tangan kita. Adat, budaya dan semangat menjadi kesinambungan perpaduan tanah air yang tercinta.
Welcome back. At least 5 people were killed and many more injured after heavy gunfire broke out at a demonstration in Lebanon. Protesters are demanding the removal of a judge leading an investigation into the deadly port explosion in Beirut last August. The protest outside the Justice Palace was led by Hezbollah group and its allies, demanding the removal of Judge Tariq Bitar. Bitar had been accused of singling out politicians for questioning, most of them allied with Hezbollah. More than 200 people were killed in the Beirut explosion on August 4th last year after a huge stockpile of ammonium nitrate detonated. The investigation into the incident has been facing obstacles since Bitar sought to question some of the most powerful people in Lebanon on suspicion that they knew about the chemicals but did nothing to avert the disaster. At least 46 people died after a major fire broke out in a building in southern Taiwan. Officials said the blaze started in the 13-story commercial and residential building at around 3 a.m. Hundreds of firefighters and rescue workers were deployed to the scene. At least 41 people have suffered injuries. Initially, authorities put the death toll at 7. But the city's fire chief warned more casualties were expected as some people may still be trapped. More than 100 residents, many of them senior citizens with physical disabilities, live in the building. In Norway, 5 people were killed and 2 more injured after a man used a bow and arrow to attack them. The 37-year-old suspect has been arrested and charged, but police have yet to disclose what charges he is facing. Authorities believed he acted alone, but said they had not ruled out the possibility of a terror attack. The suspect, a Danish citizen, was arrested 30 minutes after the assault that took place inside a supermarket in the town of Kongsberg, about 85 kilometers from the capital, Oslo. One of those injured was an off-duty police officer who was in the shop at the time. Due to the incident, police across the country have now been given the rare order to carry firearms as a precaution. Japan's new Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has dissolved parliament, setting the stage for an election on October 31st that is likely to focus mainly on the COVID pandemic. Polls show that Kishida enjoys reasonable public support just over a week after he replaced the unpopular Yoshihide Suga as Prime Minister. This bodes well for his goal of maintaining a lower house majority for the ruling Liberal Democratic Party. Kishida's party is promoting his push for COVID-19 measures, including supplying oral antiviral medication this year, as well as his vision of realizing a new capitalism that focuses on economic growth and redistribution of wealth. The much-anticipated reopening of Bali to foreign visitors has seen a slow start. No international flights have been scheduled for the island just yet. And according to tourism operators, strict quarantine rules and cumbersome visa requirements are keeping visitors away. As at late Wednesday, airport officials said there were no international flights scheduled to arrive at Ngurah Rai International Airport. The airport is waiving landing fees for all airlines until year-end to encourage them to resume international flights to Bali. As of Thursday, fully vaccinated travelers from 19 countries, including China, India and France, can enter Bali. But visitors must first serve a 5-day quarantine in a hotel. By comparison, Thailand's Phuket, which opened in July, allows fully vaccinated visitors to roam the island while waiting for their test results. Antiviral COVID-19 pill Molnupiravir claims to be able to halve the number of COVID-19 deaths and hospitalizations, but trial data has yet to be published. Tonight on Consider This, we ask Dr. Vinod Balasubramaniam if the government was right to purchase the drug. And that is all we have for you on AWANI tonight. Get the latest news updates on COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccines from astroawani.com and Astro AWANI app. I'm Cynthia Ng. Thank you for watching.